This is a flip through of my nature journal that I made with December in 2022. The tie comes off of the front of it. The pages have a couple tags, and it's all made with hand-dyed papers. The back is corrugated cardboard that I covered with dyed paper and stamps. And the window in here was a Halloween napkin that I just pulled off the spiderweb parts. And this is a snake skin, a black snake that visits my farm all the time. And since it's a nature journal, I added the bird feet here. The spine has a dangle of green beads and some rocks that I sewed on. Some beads here. And some silk here that had sequins on it. The front cover, you can see the spider webs much better, and I added the dragonfly. But underneath, I added cotton that had the cotton seed in it still. So it looks like the insect, the spider, has wrapped up a cocoon of an insect. And the front has some corrugated cardboard torn and pulled apart, and coffee dyed paper and some stamping. I used some fabric upcycled from a interior design shop that was throwing out their fabric books. This is some coffee dyed paper with stencils laid in the coffee on the papers as I dyed it. A little specimen card with a leaf, and I did color swatch of the leaf when it was bright and these colors. So I added a lot of extra pages. There are 4 signatures, but they're pretty fat signatures. And decorated the, what I think it was 18 challenges in the December. So here I just added some leaves and a dragonfly wing as part of the collection. As I make entries into the journal, I write a little note about the entry I've made. Wild cherry, bloom, some grasses. This is that vintage 1882 bank ledger. Yeah, you can't really see it that well. But they made deposits of $1 in 1882. $17.40 was a lot. A lot more specimen cards. That one's a wasp nest. This one had a dead honeybee on the flower. This was one of the challenges. A handwritten note and a loaded card. So this is the loaded card. Actually added all this flour and sewed on the sewing machine, and then inside here is the note in a little envelope. And that's a little secret pocket right there. And this one here is a specimen card and a dragonfly. So I made the dragonfly out of beads. And then this is the specimen card. And wrote a story about the fire pit. This was bright colors and journaling cards. So I made these little flip throughs, but then when I started making some entries about my birds and feathers that I find on the farm, I started adding them in. And so there's a whole collection of different stories of the bird feathers I found. And the ravens. Blue jay. And I think these are both chicken feathers. Or no, this is a raven. And this is a belly band along the edge of it. This was a card I bought somewhere at some gallery. Redbird feather. Now, this has been a favorite of mine that I used playing cards, and that was the challenge, splatter and playing cards. So I took my playing cards and hinged them together to make a fold out, and I drew different kind of acorns on all of them. And then I drew like a specimen of an acorn, and then this flips out, and there's splatters on that. And little descriptions of the acorn. And then down here in the bottom is a little squirrel, and I attached a little acorn on a string like he went fishing for an acorn, and added little acorns along the edge. This was a hummingbird I found. The challenge was a feather and a bingo card. So the bingo card I just cut apart and put my birthday here. This is a little field note about the peacock feather, and this is the hummingbird feather. And I don't know, oops, I don't know if the hummingbird survived or not. I saved it, it was a baby. And here's some more specimen cards about flowers I found in the field. Mason jar and fluff. So I took and cut out a jar and made little dragonflies and added rhinestones to them, and then sewed the plastic on top so it appeared like a jar. And the fluff is this stuff here. And more logging in of flowers I found. More feathers. Oh, that's a story about my rooster, Pretty Boy. And feathers of his. This was the envelope challenge. Where is it written at? Collage, fodder, and junk mail. So I have this envelope that I have put together, collaged a bunch of stuff all over it. A friend gave me some parrot feathers. And these are other chicken feathers, and I don't know what all these are. Redbird, blue jay. But the envelope then opens up like this, and there's pockets in here where the windows are. And then this is just where I logged in about the great blue heron that was in my creek. I was really surprised to see him. And that's a story about my big rooster. And then here I've added chicken log, the log journal area. And then I started making pictures of my chickens, the different hens. And here I keep information about if a hen sets on eggs or the new chickens I buy. I'll put when I got them and what breed I got. And this is another dragonfly hairpin. Then as the chickens started passing away, I added little memorials to them in here and what happened. This is a snake skin, a corn snake. So I put it under the little specimen card. And this is another hen that passed. This is Pretty Boy. He got attacked by a fox. Or really, the fox was attacking the hens, and Pretty Boy took him on. And he really put up a fight with him. This was a challenge of a lined envelope. And so I added a drawing to it of my big tree. And this is Pretty Boy with the chicken wire fence behind it. And that's a picture of Pretty Boy too. So this is a CD envelope I made into a pocket. And this was that other challenge again of acetate and a banner. So I did the ocean theme again on this one. Some leaves from my yard. And this is a little butterfly logbook. That was a rabbit fur from a hawk. That was interesting. So this is a little fold out. And I've been writing in it. This is the butterfly. So I've got the tag here. And then this is the butterfly journal. And I write down encounters with butterflies and what kind of butterfly it was. And it just slips back on here in this pocket. And that's a little specimen slide. Well, this is another chicken that the hawk attacked. It's a rough time in the hawk world. A lot of feathers in here. Oh, these are Luna moth that I found and added. Yeah, you can see it. A little bit different on the specimen card. These are surrounded with tape. There, that Luna moth you can see much better. And I used a little handprint inside of it, a dictionary page. And these two were dragonflies. Washi tape I was using. And then I decided to make Scotch tape and stamp the Scotch tape with a stamp. I don't know if you can see that. But it's got script writing on the tape. And another specimen card of a dogwood leaf. Brown bag pocket. This was a carpenter bee I found. And of course the body was too fat to fit into a specimen card. So I took the main part of the body out and added little round marble beads or glitter, I guess you call it. But they're little marbles. And this butterfly was a little story where I watched him flutter around my driveway for several days and then found him in a spider web the next morning. And just some articles I wanted to save in my science journal. I'm not sure why that's not fitting in. There we go. Another bird feather. hawk feather that I found. He is the neighborhood hawk. This is the mouse that I made, and I got into making this rust appearance, and it's cinnamon and Mod Podge. So this was a challenge of fabric snippet roll and grunge. So the grunge is the mouse rusty area. And the snippet roll I actually did on brown paper bags, sewing fabric strips and music sheets. And this is about the 500-year-old tree in my yard. And I made this zine with the leaves from the tree. And this was a challenge of leaves in an envelope. So I've put ginkgo leaves here and painted them. And then I also did this one. I saw someone painting these ginkgo leaves, and they look so realistic. I'm going to have to try it a little better on that. This is a faux rice paper, so you can see it's very thin. And it's just layers of napkin, tissue, then napkin and a leaf, and then another layer of tissue on top, glued with Elmer's glue. So that comes out pretty cool. Some more paper, silo information. There's pockets for another project. A little nut tree. This was a challenge of packaging and index cards. So I took the packaging with some nuts on some kind of paper. I can't remember what it was. So I added them like tabs and then made a little index card journal using tissue. And this is also packaging. So tea in a little box. Some blank pages. This was a bumblebee again. This was a challenge of tickets and a sentiment. So I added the postcard. And then there's the December 2022 envelope pocket. And then this little sign. And then back at the very back is another little journal that is a fold out. And it is tea bags that I have done the faux rice paper technique with it to make them a little thicker, and added napkins and drawings on them. And that is the end of the book. The Nature Journal.